What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I wanted to do something simple and relaxed. I spent 10 full hours stealing from the Cannonball Stall in Port Roberts, and this video is purely about the loot I ended up with at the end. Before we dive into the grind, let's take a quick look at the Cannonball loot table. The Cannonball Stall drops 6 different types of cannonballs: bronze, iron, steel, mithril, adamant, and rune. Each one has its own chance of appearing. Bronze is the most common by far, while rune is the rarest. Only about 1 in 64 steals will give you one. Everything else falls somewhere in between, with iron and steel coming in regularly, and mithril and adamant showing up less often. Here's how it breaks down. For every 64 steals, you can expect roughly 24 bronze, 16 iron, 14 steel, 6 mithril, 3 adamant, and just 1 rune. Each steal only gives 1 cannonball at a time, but over a long session, these numbers add up quickly. So, as you can see, bronze and iron dominate the loot, steel stacks steadily, mithril and adamant are a bit rarer, and rune is the jackpot that everyone gets excited about when it finally appears. I averaged around 14 steals per minute throughout the session. I wasn't sweating it or tick-perfect stealing, just playing it safe with the guard patrols and keeping things consistent. Over the full 10 hours, that worked out to 8,400 total steals. That also means 8,400 cannonballs taken from the stall. During the grind itself, it felt surprisingly steady. Bronze and iron cannonballs were coming in constantly, steel was stacking up nicely, and mithril started adding up faster than I expected. The real highlights, though, were the adamant and rune cannonballs. Even though you only get one at a time, every rune cannonball still felt like a mini win when it popped up. After roughly 1 hour in, I did a quick mental check of the loot. At that point, I was sitting at about 400 bronze, 300 iron, just under 160 steel, close to 100 mithril, around 20 adamant, and roughly 18 rune cannonballs. Nothing felt unusually lucky or unlucky, it was just very consistent the whole way through. And here I finish my 10 hours finally, and this is where the loot ended up. I finished the session with 3,150 bronze, 2,100 iron, 1838 steel, 788 mithril, 394 adamant, and 131 rune cannonballs. When you price all of that up using current grand exchange prices, the total loot value comes out to roughly 1.1 million GP, which puts this method at around 110,000 GP per hour. That's obviously not crazy money compared to some higher-end methods, but for something that requires no supplies, no setup, and very little effort. Once you're in position, it's actually not bad. What I like most about this method is how relaxed it is. Once you get into a rhythm with the guards, it's easy to just zone out, watch something on a second monitor, or listen to a podcast while the loot slowly stacks up. It's definitely not the most exciting grind in old school RuneScape, but it's consistent and satisfying in its own way. So yeah, that's 10 hours at the Cannonball Stall, solid, steady loot, decent GP for the effort, and a pretty chill way to train thieving while making some money on the side. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, comment your thoughts. I read all comments and subscribe for more old school RuneScape videos.